What's up guys, and welcome to the very first episode of my FIFA 21 career mode. And before I go any further, I actually want to inform those of you who aren't aware yet, this is not my main career mode for FIFA 21. That will be coming out in about 3 weeks time on the PS5. Get excited for that. This is just a quick project to fill the gap until then. So think of this as a warm-up to the main event, if you will. So yesterday I asked you guys to vote on what team we should use on Twitter, and if you're not following me on Twitter by now, this is further proof you definitely should be. My username is @Docklanders, link in the description, and you guys decided we should manage Wolverhampton Wanderers of the Premier League in this save, and that's a great choice as well. They're a really good team with some good young talent. They're a 4-star side, and we've got just about enough time to take the club into the Champions League, but not enough time where we can afford to be complacent in our progression if we're going to win major honours. So it's going to be a good time-based challenge, trying to win the Premier League or possibly a Champions League in 3 seasons max. That's definitely doable, but it's a challenge. This is like a time-based challenge career mode, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So in the first season, you see the team there set up in a 5-2-3. The objectives from the board are to finish in the mid-table of the Premier League, reach the Final Four of the FA Cup, and reach the final of the Europa League. Now, with a 4-star team and a budget of just shy of £50 million, the Cup and European expectations, those are, I would say, doable, but quite challenging. But the Premier League expectation is surprisingly lax. I mean, to be honest, that's quite simple. Finishing mid-table with this team, we should be targeting, in my opinion, a Europa League spot. So in the game, that's guaranteed 5th, but 6th and 7th can also provide that as well. If we finish below 7th in our debut year, we failed regardless of what happens in the Europa League and the FA Cup, in my opinion. I'm targeting 5th place this season, possibly sneaking 4th if we can. So again, they're a 4-star team, lots of players, the deals come to the end of the year. You saw our transfer list there, 4 players getting put on it, including John Ruddy, Romain Saiss as well. The centre-back Miranda too, also getting put on the list, and also recall Patrick Cutrone from his loan spell at Fiorentina, just for a backup striker for the bench to replace Raul Jimenez when he's getting a bit too tired or simply injured or suspended. Fabio Silva's a great young talent, Wolves fans will know that, but I'd rather someone's a bit higher rated to begin with. The first sale though of the window was Saiss going to Roma for £10.5 million. He's the only player on the transfer list really that can generate a sizable amount of money, so he goes for just over 10 million. But as the signings with Wolves in the first season, I don't want to make radical changes. I kind of want to do this career mode as realistically as I can. I know that is almost impossible to do in FIFA career mode due to the way that the league tables pan out, the AI transfer policy for other clubs that you're not managing, but I'm going to try my best to keep this series as realistic as possible. So after I sold Saiss, I thought about Wolves' transfer policy over the past 2 or 3 years, and as we know, with Nuno in charge, they tend to go after Portuguese players and players that are, young, good talent, but also good enough to step right into the first 11 if required. So with that in mind, I signed Ferro from Benfica for the first player coming in the window. 23 years old, Portuguese of course, 77 rated, so 1 rating lower than Romain, but 7 years younger and thus does have a lot more potential. He comes in for 23.5 million. And we also had a bid here for Raul Jimenez from Barcelona as well. I rejected this bid though and blocked all offers because Jimenez is a goal machine, and if we are to break into the top 4 this season, which is going to be a very difficult ask indeed, we've only got one chance of doing that, and that's keeping Raul Jimenez fit because he is a goal machine. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be our top scorer this year. I did a bid for Roderick Miranda though from Genk, and we accepted that, and also a bid here was negotiated with Southampton for Marcal, our Brazilian backup left back, for £7 million. Miranda's deal fell through, but Marcal did go to St Mary's for £7 million. Wolves of course have Ait Nouri, is that how you pronounce that? The very young talented French left back on loan from Angers, I think it is, and he is one of the highest potential left backs in the world in the game. So because of that, I'm going to throw him into the deep end, make him our backup left back for Johnny, and give him more exposure this year, possibly bring him back next year on a permanent deal. But of course, after the sale there of Marcal, still a lot of money remaining in the budget of course, and my second signing of the window is yet another young Portuguese player, this time a new central midfielder, Renato Sanchez. We agreed a deal with Lille of £32.5 million. Of course, in his very early days in professional football, when he was starting off at Bayern Munich, this guy was looking like he'd set the world on fire. He hasn't had exactly the most incredible of starts to his professional career, but he's only 22 years old, so he is still incredibly young. He's bounced around a little bit, had a loan spell at Swansea, he went to Lille, and now we've signed him from the French side for 32.5 mil, 78 rated, very versatile, and a great box-to-box player. High work rates, you know I love that, with 87 stamina, the flair trait, 4-star as well. And whilst João Moutinho and Ruben Neves will continue to start as a partnership, this guy will come in off the bench and also be the long-time successor for João Moutinho as well. We also sold John Ruddy as well. He went to Preston. You see the deal go through in just a moment's time. I had another bid here for Miranda, but I was finding it incredibly difficult to sell this guy. We accepted a £1.2 million bid from Norwich, but again, transfer talks broke down. But Ruddy did go to Deepdale though for £480,000. He's in his mid-30s and only 70 rated. And even though Rui Patricio is our number one, I would want a better backup goalkeeper. And I didn't have to look much further than this guy. Yes, of course, Paolo Gazzaniga. I thought this would be a fantastic signing for the bench. He is a backup goalkeeper at Spurs, of course, coming from Southampton, and Gillingham as well. And for those of you that have been around for a while, you'll know all about Paolo Gazzaniga. New subscribers, you'll learn this very quickly. Gazzaniga is a Docs legend and a cult hero on this channel. There are many, of course, but he is one of the OGs and one of the very best and one of my absolute favourite players. I love Paolo Gazzaniga to pieces, so I thought as a backup for Rui Patricio, you know, he's better than John Ruddy, he's younger than John Ruddy, and he's fantastic with his feet, which is really important, as I like to play out from the back, right from the goalkeeper's feet as well in FIFA. 10.5 mil was the transfer fee, and Paolo Gazzaniga is in to become backup goalkeeper and third signing of the window. So after the signing of the Argentine, we had around £5 million in the budget remaining. Although as Kilman went to Lazio for 1.2 million, a really interesting sale there. Max Kilman going to the Stadio Olimpico. We had yet another bid for Roderick Miranda. I just can't sell this guy, man. 1.2 mil from AZ Alkmaar. Once again, we accept, but I doubt it's going to go through. As you see Kilman there lining up as a new Lazio player. That was it for the transfer window before the first game of the season. Of course, it doesn't slam shut until the end of August. There's still some time to work with, but 4 sales, 3 of those being in their 30s, and 3 new signings as well, 2 in their early 20s, and Paolo Timeless Gazzaniga means our team looks like this heading into the opening day of the Premier League campaign. Again, Wolves do play a 5-2-3. I'm very old school. Like, I practically always play 4 at the back. I'm just that sort of guy on FIFA. However, when I do career mode and I'm using a team, I'll normally play their play style and try and adapt to what they use in real life. So we'll keep with the 5-2-3, but I'm not against changing it if I'm not having much success with it as the season goes by. So first of the 4 games of the month in the Premier League would be against Leeds United away from home. And real quickly as well, how frustrating is it that Ellen Road is not a real stadium in FIFA? I know the generic default stadium that Leeds play out in the game isn't that far off what Ellen Road looks like in real life, but Ellen Road is a really iconic ground. I hope EA do add it in to a patch in the FIFA year. But to take it on Leeds regardless, you'd see none of our 3 signings would make their debuts because, again, I want to keep it relatively realistic to begin with and use a set of players that Wolves have in real life. But of course, in time, Renato Sanchez, I'm sure Gazzaniga as well, will get some starts in this team. But for the most part, it's a decent team. Again, looks pretty realistic as well. So hence the first game of the season, aiming to get off to a winning start, and just 11 minutes in, well, we're talking about realism, what a shocker it was that our first goal was scored by our number 9. Raul Jimenez finishing like a number 9 should, poaching and pouncing on a loose ball after Adama Traore's shot was parried by Kiko Casilla and smacking it in to the roof of the net. That's where I rejected that bid from Barcelona in the window. Jimenez is just a goal machine. Any chance of us staying in the Europa League and possibly, again, going all the way to qualify in the Champions League depends on keeping Raul Jimenez fit. 20 minutes later though, Leeds would find their leveller, and it came from Rodrigo, the speedy Spaniard, a new signing for the season at Ellen Road. Lovely little 1-2 between him and Click as well. One thing I've noticed as well in this year's FIFA is the EA have improved the off-the-ball movement from players, and that's something I've been crying out for so many years in so many FIFAs. Lovely off-the-ball movement by Rodrigo, and a great little 1-2 there as Leeds found their leveller. We were the better team though, and really upped the intensity in the second half. I started playing with a lot more pace in the second half. I was prioritising having possession mostly in the first half, but in the second half, I was looking for quicker attacks and more shots on goal. We had several, but unfortunately, I just could not beat Kiko Casilla in this game. Espana made a string of fine saves in the second half. Whilst we had the chances, I just couldn't find that goal to give us the winner. So in the end, final score, Leeds United 1, Wolves 1. Not a great start, but a long way to go and positives for sure. And that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. So big thank you for watching the season opener. If you did enjoy it, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of our FIFA 21 Career Mode with Wolves very soon.